Hello Flosstube, my name is Mariam, my pronouns are she, her. You may know me as Madrumi Crafts on Instagram or Madrumi Designs on Etsy. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is a channel about cross stitch and this is a special episode. This is a Flosstube Extra, which means that I have come up with a new design and I am introducing it to you today. I'm recording this on 12/31/23, which means that it's 123 This is once in a lifetime kind of a day. So I thought this is fitting to record this one of a kind, once in a lifetime pattern, at least for me as well. So first I'm going to introduce you to what the pattern looks like, and then I'm going to talk about what it means, because this is an important pattern, at least for me. Alright, so without further ado, I mean, you have seen it in the thumbnail as well, but this is Azaad, the Lost Unicorn. So it is 182 by 153 stitches, and you need 14 different threads of DMC. There are a few étoiles in it and also a regular DMC as well. So there are sparkly bits. So all around the border, these are unicorn heads looking at you directly. So all these unicorn heads are in étoile. There are some étoile here, some étoile in the horn, eye, the mane, tail, some in the detail, the design inside the unicorn, and legs as well, and the rest are solid regular DMCs. So I stitched it on 18 count Aida in mushroom rainbow from Banana Oil. This is a very special fabric. It's, as you see, these are like mushroomy colors, so there is enough mauve, grays, greige, and there are like specks of all sorts of colors, like colors of rainbow in it, which makes it extremely unique. So this is a fabric from Banana Oil. This is a special fabric, so I purchased this from Banana Oil, not knowing that I'm gonna stitch a model on it, but then when I designed this pattern, I only found that specific fabric to be fitting, and the only fabric that would actually capture the emotions that I wanted to convey, the feel of the design would only like come to life on that fabric. So I decided to stitch on it. The problem is Kristy, the designer behind Banana Oil, she is an artist, so when she creates different fabrics, when she dyes different fabrics, these are all one of a kind, unique fabrics. So if you purchase that one fabric, that is it. She doesn't have any other one to replace it. So when I started model stitching, and I decided to share my whole journey of model stitching from the beginning to end with you. So all of the whole progress was captured and shared on Instagram. So if you check my Instagram, which is Madrumi Crafts, and it's linked below, you see that from the beginning you can find all the steps, you know, the stages of this model being stitched. And every single time I posted an update, there was like no way that I went on with an update without anyone asking what this fabric was, if not more than one person. So there are a lot of like questions, like if you look at the comments, people would ask what this fabric is, because it is awesome. It's a very unique fabric. So I would let them know this is Banana Oil, but however, you will not be able to find it. This is a one of a kind, blah blah blah, all of that. The more I went on, the more I realized that I actually do need to address this, because people wanted to get their hands on the fabric so they can stitch this pattern on that fabric. So I reached out to Kristy and I asked if she can actually recreate the fabric again. And she doubted because she doesn't have a recipe. It's just an artistic like endeavor for her. She just experiments and things happen. It's like magic. So I asked her if she can actually try and see if she can recreate it, because I would like to have her have that in a stock in her shop, so when I release this pattern she will have that and people can buy it paired with this. And so she has been trying for the past few months. She's been working really hard, sending me updates every now and then with like a, if she get like closer to the fabric or not, she will send me photos of the progress. And finally she let me know that she actually got it. It's not, of course, it's not going to be the exact match, because even if you buy fabric from fabric dyers and you buy the same name of the fabric, most likely the one that you have each time you buy that fabric, it will look different. It's not, no two pieces are exact the same unless they're printed. The only way you can get a hand-dyed fabric to look exactly the same and consistently the same is as if you don't really hand dye it, you just print it. So of course this is not going to be the exact match for the piece that I have, but it is very close in a spirit, and it's very close in the color tones. So the tones are very, very similar to what I have. So the rainbow mushroom that I have, or mushroom rainbow that I have. So yes, so the day I am releasing this pattern, which will be on January 4th, my birthday, if you head out to Banana Oil on Etsy, you should be able to see a variety of this exact fabric available for purchase. The pieces are big enough for you to be able to stitch the whole thing on it, but she wanted to make sure that it's not like a big piece, so it will be more affordable, so more people will have access to it. And she is releasing more than Ada, so it will be Ada available, or some other, even weave, I think, and also linen will be available in various of counts. So yeah, so head out to Banana Oil, support Kristy. She's an awesome fabric dyer. So, and she has so many, like while you're on her shop, take a look around. She has so many different fabrics and they're all unique and beautiful. So yeah, so that's all of that about fabric. So now let's talk about Azaad. So Azaad in Farsi means free or free spirited. So it's more than just being free physically, it's being not in bound, so out of bound, and not fitting in a box, basically outside the box. And lost unicorn is lost unicorn. So if you have noticed and you have been part of the community, and you know Dee and Kari, the duo behind amazing queer unicorns that are out there. So we have trans unicorn, and also we do have lesbian unicorn. And Dee announced that there will not be releasing so many different kind of unicorns. I think there are a couple more that they're thinking about releasing, but after that they're not releasing all sorts of like identities in the form of unicorn. But they allowed people to take advantage of this opportunity and create their own unicorn. So when I was thinking about the idea of coming up with a pattern around my identity and my queerness, I reached out to Dee and asked permission to come up with this pattern that is a unicorn pattern, and they granted me permission, and so I started the process. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and it has a lot of Like it was a therapeutic process for me to go through this from the beginning to end. So as you may or may not know, I identify as queer, so I'm part of the LGBTQIA plus community, and this is not something that I always talk about. Well, I do mention it a lot actually recently, but I used to not talk about it that much. But so I want to give you like a little bit of like a story behind why this is a lost unicorn. So I came out to myself 10 years ago. It wasn't me having, I don't know, coming of age story in my preteen or teen years. I was 28. And even at that time, when I came out to myself, it was a terrifying experience. It wasn't easy for me to accept it. It was absolutely terrifying. And it was a very, very dark, I was in a very, very dark place. Accepting who I am has taken me a very long time. So, in a way, my unicorn was lost. And this pattern is dedicated to all of us who have had a very long journey of coming to a realization and then acceptance and embracing our queer identities. It's not easy for everyone. Coming out is not easy for everyone. It's not easy anyway for anyone. However, the ability to come out, even for those who have heartbreaking stories to tell, and even for those who get rejected by families and communities and they have to build from scratch or experience a lot of rejection and very negative reactions, even that, the ability to do that is a privilege. I don't know if everyone is aware of it. It's like when you're living in, when you have grown up in a Western world, and especially these days, you have access to so much information and so many avenues to explore your identity, or at least heard of things that are, you have at least a language for it. You at least have words for it. You can talk about it. Even if you reject it, even if they reject it, they know what they're rejecting. They tell you what they're rejecting, right? There is a name for it. But for some of us, that is not the case. Some of us have been born and grown up in cultures that I didn't have a word for what I was at all. I didn't have language around it. I didn't have any word for it. So even if I knew who I was deep down, on some level, it was really deep. I could not even express it because I didn't have any language around it. So yeah, for us, the journey is longer, is more confusing, more lonely, and very, very painful. That is why Azaad is a lost unicorn. Because it takes a long time for some of us. This is the third time I'm recording this. So 10 years ago when I admitted to myself that I was queer, it was a dark day. It felt like jumping off a cliff in the dark, not knowing how far you have to fall before you hit the ground. It was a death sentence, but I just didn't know. I was just waiting for the blow. I just was waiting for it to end. Can you imagine a living like that? Carrying yourself, going through higher education. That was right before I actually started my master level in counseling. Going through that, going through a school, and being alone in it, it was terrifying. It was terrifying, but I feel like that was a necessary pain in a way. I needed to go through that pain to come out of it here. It could have ended in a different way, but it didn't. Thankfully, I am here. I just remember that after my realization and admission to myself, I just told myself that I accept who I am, and as a result, I will not compromise who I am. I might not come out ever. I will take this to my grave, but I'm not going to conform to what is expected of me either. I'm not. So, in a way, I accepted that I will be alone. I will be completely alone for the rest of my life. I mean, it was really lucky that during my education as a counselor, I was paired with a mentor that changed my life. So there are few people in the journey that basically helped that lost unicorn to be found. The first person was my mentor, who first was my supervisor for my internship, and he is the kindest person, and he's a dear friend now, and we are friends. We became we became friends. Still, he is mentoring me even to now, to this day. And he's gay, and his partner is the same age as me, so we bonded over a lot of different things, you know, culture things, social media, what we like, what we don't like, as like older millennials. He's older, but his partner is this exact same age as me. And we bonded, and then we created, and he was really curious about me. And I told him last time that I met him that I think you saw it in me before I told anyone anything. And I think that is true, because the way he treated me and created a space and was curious and had very smart questions that were guiding me in a way to be able to express myself and talk about issues, queer issues. It helped a lot. It helped a lot. It opened the door for me to develop language around my culture and queerness and my history, my religion and queerness. So he had a lot of, like, he guided me to seek a lot of answers for questions that he was asking, but actually were in a way my questions too. So I owe that to him. And then during pandemic, I was not, I slowly started to come out at work. It was in a spur of moment. It was a discussion about queerness and Muslimness, and I just blurted out that I am queer and Muslim. I mean, they all knew I was Muslim, but I blurted out that I was queer, and so I was out at work for among some of my friends, not completely like out. Not everyone at work knew that I was queer, but some of my friends and coworkers knew that I was queer. And then pandemic hit, and we all stayed at home, and that was a blessing in disguise. It allowed me to, it gave me a space to go deep inward and start exploring. And also, that was the first time I had a chance to explore my childhood trauma that was completely unrelated to my queerness, but had a huge impact on my journey, in a way. So that space was very needed. And then I started first crafting, and then I was introduced to the stitching community, and I started stitching, and not only to the stitching community, but also to the unique branch of the stitching community, which is queer stitchers community, which is that's a different thing. That's different. That's another level. So a stitching community as a whole, I never had experienced anything like it. If it wasn't for you, I was never in a community, never had experience of being in a community that I was accepted to this level. And I was in other spaces that are like Iranian spaces, Persian spaces, that is from my culture. And I had to always hide part of my identity, either my ethnicity or my religion or my queerness, or didn't matter where I was, I had to tweak and leave out some part of it. A stitching community was the first time I could be myself, my whole self, everything in one package. And it was okay. I didn't have to compromise at all. And that was new. And then I was introduced to queer stitching community, which is even more accepting, even more intentional in what they do and how they approached me. I do not forget when these 20 stitches here on Flosstube and also on Instagram, they were putting together a list of designers and fabric dyers and floss dyers and shop owners, anything stitching related, creators that were part of the community. And they made an announcement and asked everyone that if you want to be part of it, if you want to be on the list, reach out. So I reached out, but I told them that I want to be on the list, but I'm not out. I'm not out, but I want to be on the list. This is the first time that I'm actually trying this. And the response that I got was so carefully put and so kind and so considerate and so encouraging that it started the whole process of me being more and more comfortable with saying who I am and also bringing more of the colors, shades of my identity in the mix. So, all that to say, thank you if you had any interaction with me in the past few years and in any way showed kindness and acceptance, I want to tell you that it mattered. Every single one of those interactions, even if they were small, were meaningful and saved me. I want you to know that it matters. Every single one of those interactions matters. Every single one of those interactions are important. And even if you think that it's just, I don't know, it's just a check-in, it's just me being interested in what you say or what you have to share, but it's important. So thank you. And for those of you who are on this journey similar to me, and maybe you're not out, maybe you're only out in some spaces, maybe you think that you will never be out. First, I want to tell you that I see you. I'm sending you a hug. I know how you feel. It will get better. And also, I want you to look in the mirror and come out to yourself. It's important. It's the first step. It's the smallest step. It doesn't matter the rest. Even if you decide not to come out ever, it's fine. It's your journey, and take your time. So, for those of us who have lost unicorns, for those of us who have found our lost unicorns, and for those of us who are still searching for our lost unicorns, this pattern is for us. This is for you. I see you and I love you. Happy stitching.